going, everybody?
Good, good.
All right, a couple questions for Lorenz. You won't hear it.
Huh?
Don't worry about it. You won't hear it.
Can I do that?
Yeah. All right, you got it.
Pro player.
All right. Lorenz, to start off here, 2 wins down in a row after some setbacks here. How nice does it feel to be not only back to the cage, but get everything, your timing back, your footwork back, and everything back to where you were when you came in Phil?
It feels good. With this fight, I had a lot of changes and things like that, and I fought in January, so I felt the rust in there. I like to be an active fighter. As long as I'm healthy, I like to fight. So with this fight, it was stretched out for so long. I didn't know when I was going to fight, so I felt a little bit rusty in there. But as long as I stay active, I got some ring time in right now, and he's a tough opponent. So I feel like it's coming back. I just got to stay active.
What? Oh, it doesn't say. Just kidding.
Let's talk about the obvious question right now. We did a tournament. Roy McDonald suffered some bumps, bruises, and injuries during his fight with Musasi. When do you hope to get the call of either, hey, you're going to be fighting John Fish, or hey, we have an idea of maybe when you're fighting? Do you hope to get into like before Christmas, after Christmas? What's the time that you
As long as I'm active. The whole thing about this tournament, just so to clear it up, I was never approached to be an alternate. I was approached to be in the tournament. And I decided to be an alternate because the time that I would have fought in the tournament would have been way too long. It would have been the longest layoff of my career. And so what we came up with was I'll fight earlier and it'll be for an alternate spot in the tournament. So that's how that whole thing came about. I was originally approached to be in the tournament, so as long as it's soon. I'm healthy, I want to get back in there, stay training. The longer I have a layoff, the longer I start eating fast food, weight gets, you know what I mean? So as long as I just want to stay consistent.
Lorenz, congrats on the win. How tight was that heel hook there?
That's the thing. It's I love playing with footlocks. I'm playing with footlocks with big old heavyweight over here. You know what I mean? So it wasn't tight at all. I felt, if you can go back and look at my facial expression, I felt super comfortable. That was a position out of the whole fight. That was probably the most comfortable position that I felt the most comfortable with.
I know you said you want to get in, not sit too long. Erick Silva tweeted after the fight. He said, "Okay, you beat my substitute. Things are going to be different against me." Is that a fight you still want to pursue? And do you have any response to that?
My first thought is the tournament. At the end of the day, every time, and this is public knowledge, every time I sign a contract, I show up. Win or lose, I show up. Anybody who knows my career has never thought that I was not going to show up to the fight. I train smart. I have some of the best coaches in the game. I train hard, and I train smart, and I come in the fight. If you had a good camp, there's no way you come in 100% into a fight. It's period. Nobody does. So I have bumps and bruises and things like that, and things that I come into the fight with. But that's just, I'm a fighter, man. I sign a contract, I show up on the date, and I perform. Period. So before he starts talking, tell him to show up to a fight when he signs a contract, and then we can go from there.
You made that decision to be an alternate rather than to enter the tournament. How did you sort of weigh the activity? Seems like it's more important. So how did you weigh that against the possibility of fighting for the belt?
Well, my thing is the layoff. The longest layoff I've ever had was, I think it was like 11 months. And that was my transition from Strikeforce to UFC. And that was one of the worst things in my whole career. It was too long of a layoff. So this is something that I did not want to repeat, and I want to stay active. That's the whole point. I don't want to fight 1 time, 2 times a year. I really want to be active. So those were my big decisions that that made this happen. You know, it's big layoff or be in the tournament. You know, and or be in the tournament and have a big layoff, or fight sooner. You know, and the fight sooner weighed a lot more for me.
Come out of this one pretty healthy.
No, I'm good.
Lorenz, Keith Jim, the MMA Takeover. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
How hard was it to prepare for 3 different opponents in this training camp?
You know, at the end of the day, my team, you know, is very confident with how I can adapt to different guys. And the good thing is for me is, as you guys can see, I can fight orthodox and I can fight southpaw. It's not that big of a change for me. So, you know, but in combat sports, period, that's a big change from orthodox to fighting a guy who's orthodox and fighting a guy who's unorthodox or southpaw, you know. So with me, it's not that big of a deal because I can fight both, you know, and I can do it comfortably. So, you know, it's just more video, a little tweaks, and keep at it. You know, my main thing is as long as I have a good camp. As long as I have a good camp, I'm not really worried about that.
1 or 2 more guys.
You're the next guy up. You go in the tournament with 7 guys that you can possibly face. You got to kind of throw yourself right back in training camp. You got to call it any time for any match. So how do you prepare for it? 7 possibilities.
Just make sure I have a healthy camp. As long as my condition is good, my coach is working with me, working on technique and things like that, I feel like with anybody I can always adapt in there. And that's one of those things that came over time, you know, came with time and being in the cage and being with different high-level, you know, opponents, you know. So as long as, my thing is, as long as I have a good camp, I can adapt in there. And I can take direction from my coaches and apply it.
Levi and Douglas Neymar and Volpe will both have the design of still in the tournament. What's other guys? Preference? You get a perfect corner. You get to pick any one of these 7s. You have a preference?
I don't, as long as it's in the final.
Lorenz, when you were on your way out of the UFC, you were talking about how you didn't really feel appreciated and promoted properly and everything. Your 4 fights into your Bellator career now, how do you assess how you've been treated and, you know, how the experience has been so far?
My experience is good. You know, I don't have any complaints. Everything is on a personal level, you know, with the whole Bellator staff. You know, nothing is like, you know, where I don't have a personal connection with all the people I worked with in Bellator. And that's the thing with me, you know, it's I'm loyal to you as much as you're loyal to me. You know, I can die hard loyal, and Bellator's my home. You know, I love it here. Everything is fair. You know, I'm not asking for nothing crazy, and everything is assessed fairness. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. You know, as long as I feel like I'm getting treated with respect and fair on both sides. You know, because you know, us as fighters, we always. No, I want it for me. You know, it's kind of a selfish sport, but I always look at things both ways, my side and the other side. And you know, they've been fair to me since I've been here.
All right. Thanks, Lorenz.
All right, thanks, guys.
Good time.